Today, I want to talk about the current U.S. political climate and assumptions that are routinely made by many participating in the political debate. Specifically, I find it curious that so many Democrats and other liberals assume that Trump supporters and other conservatives are naive, unsophisticated simpletons. Note that we live in a world of unbounded complexity, and the best we can do is to construct limited and approximate models of that world that have utility in helping us navigate through it to first, stay alive, and then achieve whatever other goals we can that we believe will give us satisfaction. So any model, and any narrative based on that model, is necessarily a gross simplification of the underlying reality. But some models are more complex than others, and some are better approximations and have more utility than others. Given that, I cannot find much utility in the simplistic model represented by the mainstream narrative promoted by the mainstream media, or MSM, the Democrats, and a number of others. Without explicitly stating the assumptions it is based on, they appear to include 1. Borders have no utility. 2. Men and women have no significant physical differences, and differences in behavior are due solely to socialization, except that women are naturally less violent than men and smarter than men. 3. Sex and gender are unrelated, and a person can change their gender from day to day, like changing hairstyles. 4. Men and women are from different tribes, even though they have always been complementary parts of the same tribe. 5. Behaviors with different consequences are equal in value, as long as they do not lead to immediate violence or physical harm. 6. Any random belief system or set of values is equally likely to improve the general welfare and is superior to the belief system and set of values that created modern civilization. 7. Martin Luther King Jr. was wrong, and race is important and can be the basis for discrimination, but only in certain directions. 8. Children who are old enough to decide to change their gender or even get sex reassignment surgery, basically genital mutilation, are not old enough to make contracts, get married, or vote. 9. If someone who superficially resembles you received some benefit in the past, you cannot complain when you are deprived of that benefit today, or if you are made to pay for that benefit received by that person in the past. And 10. All cultures are equal, except for certain subcultures within the mainstream culture that are appropriately sneered at and subverted. These contradictory and childlike assumptions seem to underlie virtually every position advocated by the MSM, Democrats, and other liberals, and anyone who points that out is accused of hate speech, and attempts are made to censor them. The silly and childish narrative which implies that the liberals are going to deliver us into some utopia where everyone will be singing Kumbaya and living in peace and harmony, once we abandon all traditional values and get rid of the racists, sexists, homophobes, and other deplorables, was obviously constructed to bamboozle the most unsophisticated and simple-minded citizens in the country. Trump supporters and other conservatives come in great variety and different levels of sophistication, but most of them appear to recognize that life is a struggle and always will be, and that there are innumerable different ways to think about society in any number of groups people may identify with. More importantly, they know deep down that any vision of a utopia is nothing but a pipe dream, and that attempts to make people believe in a utopia are only made by the most naive or the most sinister. And they understand that it is highly doubtful that the most naive could ever manage to lead such a huge effort.